I did see the DraftKings early line for the Super Bowl had the Eagles actually as a favorite, which I was shocked to see that because I really thought watching the Bengals and the Chiefs game, I mean, to me, it felt like either one of those teams would have been able to take out the 49ers, especially with Brock Purdy getting injured, and
Yeah, but it
Philadelphia.
also seems like Philadelphia could have won that game 60-7 if they really cared to, but they just knew, yeah, they're not going to move the ball.
They couldn't do anything. I mean, poor San Fran. I mean, 83 yards passing, 81 yards rushing, and the 81 yards rushing, 84 yards for Christian McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel did lose 9 yards on 6 carries. They tried to get him the ball. Thought Philly did a really nice job against him, but Christian had that just an all-timer of a run from 23 yards out on second down, just breaking tackles and was stuck in this mass of humanity, and then all of a sudden just popped out and ran into the end zone, which was a lot of fun. But really nothing special to write home about from Philly. I mean, Philly's offensive line did some nice blocking, but I mean, nobody on Philadelphia averaged more than 4 yards a carry. Nobody ran the ball for more than 50 yards. And Jalen Hurts threw it for 121 yards. Like, he wasn't anything, spectacular to write home about either. And I was just like, man, AFC might take home another Super Bowl. Not so fast, my friends. We'll see. But Philadelphia, a 2-point favorite. So one of the things that really kind of stood out and was very interesting after the conclusion of the second game. Now, Devontae Smith's catch, no catch. Look, as we move forward into the AFC game later on that night, there is nothing better than going to a live sporting event, right? It's fantastic, and it's for all the things that you grow up rooting for a team, and you go there and your team wins, and the memories you create as a young person going with your parents, and then growing up and going with your friends, and then eventually having your kids and taking them to share that experience. There's nothing better than a live game. Right, it's the atmosphere. It's walking through. Giving so now they scan your tickets, but the ticket taker to security to getting to your seat to getting a popcorn, like all those little things. Then the atmosphere, the noise level, the energy that is in the building. That it was just palpable this year at Ford Field. I mean, people could feel that this team was so much different. And, even if it was a 3-point loss to the Eagles or a response, against the Commanders, every game felt like a massive game inside Ford Field. And I think that there's something to be said about what that experience of going to a live sporting event entails, no matter what your cup of tea is, right? So, I mean, we're talking football because, it's football season, but it's tough to find the same sort of urgency, the same sort of, meaningful. Everything's on the line every single week in football. You just don't have that in the other sports. Now, if you went to a playoff game, obviously that would be, a whole heck of a lot different. If you went to any of the games when the Red Wings were competitive prior to this last decade-long slump, you know what I mean. I mean, playoff hockey is a completely different animal. It's the closest thing that I feel like you can get to playoff football, and that is because of the physical contact that exists within that sport. And then you have playoff basketball and playoff baseball. But at the end of the day, you go
Do
to
not
the live
even tell
event.
me playoff baseball isn't crazy.
It's crazy, but it's not the same because there's not the
Oh, it's way more intense. Like, do not
more
get me, like,
intense than hockey.
yeah, Anthony, it's
Damn.
one-on-one, like, games. You go back and look at the scores. Regular season baseball and playoff baseball are completely different. Games end 2-1, and it's like, guys are bunting in the 8th inning. That does not happen during the regular season.
Because the game is meaningful.
Yeah.
Correct. And all I'm saying is that because, at least from my perspective, the physical nature of hockey increases the level of stress. Because in baseball, yes, you are the one-on-one duel between the hitter and the pitcher, right? Every pitch just feels – I love postseason baseball. Postseason baseball is fabulous. Love it. Not complaining about that one bit. but you don't have to worry about getting hit if you have your head down, right? And that's what to me makes football in hockey stand out and so much different is the violent nature of the sport. As strange as that might sound, as a society built on violence, like there's something to, if there is a cheap shot, I can pull this man to the side and we can duke this out barehanded. We can do bare knuckle boxing in the middle of a game. Like there's just something to it that is different, and that's because of the physical nature and aggression and violence of the sport that exists there. You don't have that in baseball. You don't have that in basketball. But I'm not disagreeing with you that baseball is completely different in the postseason. There's just nothing quite like football where it's all one game as well. It's like the NCAA tournament, right? A one and done. You have a bad performance, somebody gets injured, and that, it can be all said and done. What is unfortunate about this weekend is that, the first game was a little bit of a stinker. Yeah, I'm not hiding anything from you. Like it wasn't a great game. We may see the Players Association adapt that third quarterback because of, that was rough. You didn't want to see Brock Purdy get injured because of what a story he was. But then you had Josh Johnson come in. And Josh Johnson is a character who has played literally, I think, on every team in the NFL. He's 36 years old. He's played 3 years in Tampa. He was with the Browns. He was with the Bengals, Washington, the Jets, Baltimore, San Francisco. I mean, the guy's been all over the place, right? And those are teams that he, had, some regular season statistics in as well. Like he has bounced around from squad to squad to squad. You don't want to see that happen, where a guy comes in. It's just, and he gets hurt, so then the other guy has to come back in. The whole thing was just a mess. So maybe we'll see an adjustment there for the Players Association. In the evening game, Kansas City against Cincinnati, it felt like every single call went in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm not big in sports are rigged. I don't really believe that. I don't want to believe that. I can't. If you tell me that the NFL wanted the Chiefs in the game, I don't know. That's the whole reason I steered clear of the Donaghy.
If you're telling me that they wanted the Chiefs in the game and not a California market, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're talking about a different game. But
yeah, they would have. The San Francisco would have needed a whole lot more than the refs. They would have needed God out there.
Either Kansas City and Cincinnati, they're the same size market. I feel like sure, you want Kansas City in it because maybe the Andy Reid Eagles Super Bowl thing is cool, but
Mahomes is their golden boy.
I don't think. No, but is he? Everybody loves Joe Burrow.
Everybody loves Joe Burrow.
I think people dislike Patrick Mahomes a little bit more because of the whole his family, and Brittany Mahomes last night. I just saw her tweet. 3 or Cancun on 3 or something like that, going after the game, for the week before they head to the Super Bowl.
1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Just like, come on. I don't do I think that the calls absolutely went in Kansas City's favor? Yeah, but do I think that it was any conspiracy? No.
It's a conspiracy when you get 3 third-down chances.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that was bad.
From a referee taking one step onto the field and raising his arm up like, oh, we're going to have to replay the down now. No, you screwed up. Sorry, officials. You screwed up. Live with it.
I've seen officials come in for a substitution or for a resetting of the play clock or for a myriad of different other activities. Run in and basically tackle the center at the line of scrimmage. Whistles blowing, arms flailing, ready to
do what the one Packers player did. Run in, kick the ball from the
kick
center.
The ball.
Yeah, and the fact that, it was just opportunity after. Like, I get why Bengals fans would be irate.
The call, the out of bounds at the end, that's a penalty. The other ones were questionable.
Right, but since they got the last call right, there's not going to be a discussion from the NFL.
They're not going to release a statement like the official NBA officiating account will about how that call's going to keep them up at night and how they're sick to their stomach. And, oh, my God.
Yeah,
But
they're
we
so
strive
sick
to be the best.
They're so sick, just like LeBron James was.
It is and so if you were a Cincinnati fan today, I could understand you would have some gripes there. It didn't help that Joe Burrow was sacked 5 times this game, pressured a whole bunch. Like that's one of the things that really stood out to me in this football game was like, look, you got to win the line of scrimmage. You have to. I mean,
it was Cincinnati, like that was going to come up this game. Like 3 starters injured on your offensive line. Like Buffalo, they were like Von Miller didn't play last week. Now you get Chris Jones and Frank Clark. Like that was the story of the game. It was the story of the first quarter, where you had more sacks than total yards.
And it was a lot of pressure. Pressure bursts pipes. Pressure forces throws. A couple of interceptions for Joe Burrow. And I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, you know what? For Patrick Mahomes to be playing on the ankle that he's playing on, saying that he spent somewhere between 4 and 5 hours a day on the training table, probably getting the ultrasound on the ankle, trying to heal this thing up, because that's a multi-week injury. And he goes out there and throws for 326 and 2 touchdowns.
He can rehab in Cancun.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what he's going to do. But I was surprised that when I tweeted out, like, hey, in the biggest moment, like, Mahomes got it done. And people are like, oh, Captain check down. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He was 29 of 43.
Did you see that?
For 326 and 2 touchdowns on above ankle.
That throw on 3rd and 10, he
Disgusting.
like threw a 46-yard touchdown on a line.
But also, like, with that ankle injury being your push-off ankle, you kind of have to be Captain check down with how your body is.
It didn't matter to me.
Well, like, I'm just saying, like,
he's out there throwing it.
Right. Like, he wasn't, but it's like, also, like, there were some throws where it's like, okay, that's where the ankle pain was. It's like he just couldn't get enough on some throws during the game. He made all his good throws when he was on the run, and he could go off his left foot.
In that one to MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the 20-yard just absolute laser beam into the end zone. Like, that was a hell of a pass.
And then he like limped off the field after that. He's very, very
right.
good.
And I think most of us, we're just upset at the officiating because the first game was so bad that we just wanted more of this good game.
Yeah, it was a little bit. We had stinker into what could be an instant classic, and for Joseph Asai, nobody said anything about the trainer. Can we get an update?
Yeah, is he okay?
On the
like
trainer?
He banged the back of his head so hard on that bench.
Oh my God, annihilated.
And then not only that, Osai was laying on him for a good 20 seconds before he kind of fell over to his own knee pain. And I'm just seeing the highlights or the clips now resurfacing of Pratt, Cincinnati's linebacker, yelling at Osai as they're walking to the locker room. It's like, okay, dude, let's go check the tape and see where you screwed up this game.
How about the guy that Trent Williams body slammed? That guy's got a concussion for sure, too.
If that video right there, San Francisco's Trent Williams just grabbing another human being and throwing him to the ground like a rag doll, if that doesn't explain to you the size and strength that you're dealing with, and I know how much better everybody is at home on their couch, but, I mean, you got to understand what's going on out there, people. Like, this is a full contact, full speed sport here, and Trent Williams grabs a dude and just threw him. Luckily, he didn't collapse the guy's knee who – after Williams tosses the Eagles player, basically almost tossed him into the side of the knee of a teammate from Philadelphia. And that would have been, I mean, he was half a foot away from ACL right there. I mean, the guy, hit the side of the leg and then kind of fell off, towards the ground and not into the knee. But, yeah, Williams throws a human body into your knee, that thing's gone. See ya. And I know, and look, Asai is going to follow this play is going to follow him forever. It's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. It's never just the one play. It never is. And for a young fellow who's had a good year, his teammate obviously, riding him as they, go into the locker room about, why are you even touching the quarterback? And it's a it's you're chasing somebody full speed. It happens pretty regularly. Was it the right call? Yes. Did they have to call it? I don't know. But that kind of decided the game right there. As I said, there's plenty of other things you can do throughout the course of a football game, that would have made it, had the offensive line been better for the Cincinnati Bengals, they probably can win that game. But, they're down 3 starters. If anybody would have guarded MVS, who got 116 yards and a touchdown, while Travis Kelce with back issues had 7 catches for 78 yards and a score, maybe there were some things you guys could have done on those plays, and then it doesn't come down to a field goal to win it.
And the broadcast just going on and on about how, Mahomes has no one to throw to right now because all your third, fourth, fifth, and sixth receivers are out. I was like, sorry, is Travis Kelce still out there? Is MVS still out there? Pachenko's still there? So it's like you still have your top 3 options available. It's just options 4 through 7 are gone. It's like I understand they're getting thin and they have to actually just play people on their roster, but spare me that they have no one to throw to.
Romo and Nance, I'm sorry. I just think they're terrible. I do. I can't stand them. I think the CBS broadcast is awful. I don't like anything about it, and it's part of it could be because CBS has the worst stream option available because you have to be a Paramount Plus subscriber to stream a game even if you already pay for cable, you have to. It's just the whole thing. I just can't stand it. I really can't. I think I don't like Nance. Think he, whatever. Good afternoon, good morning, friends. What? That's fine. Romo, I think, is highly overrated. It's just a whole lot of yelling and predictions. And then Jim Nance will be like, well, what about this guy, Tony? And Tony's like, yeah, well, we've named every other offensive player out there. I'm sure that guy might be able to catch the football on 3rd down. I can't stand it. I really just dislike the entire CBS presentation. Tracy's fine. Tracy Wolfson is fine. Outside of that, I'm good on all of it. I don't even like the halftime. I don't even like the halftime. Don't like the pregame show. There's a Nate Burleson and Tracy. Those are my 2 favorites. Outside of that, everybody else is completely irrelevant to me.